Hi students, welcome to my YouTube channel NCERT Mitra. In previous two videos, we already discussed and started new chapter. Perhaps you know that is the ocean tides and currents. In there, we discuss a lot of things: the ocean, upper quantity of the water on the atmosphere, water on the earth also, and different type of the bay and the sea. We already discussed. Then we also discussed the currents, their origin, their types, and world currents. We already discussed. Okay, and there we also discussed the surface current, surface ocean current, then their vertical and horizontal movement, and causes of the ocean currents. We already discussed. Now in this video we are going to discuss another thing. Perhaps you can see over here, that is the causes of the ocean currents. Okay, so one by one we already discussed. If you did not see that video, we are asked that please watch this video. Second thing, that the ocean currents we already discussed. Now we are going to discuss some of the effects of ocean currents. Means what are the effects of the ocean currents? That we have previous video we already discussed. There are two types of ocean currents. First one is the warm ocean current and second one is the cold ocean current. In this video we are going to discuss about their type and their effects on human lives, as well as you can say the biotic lives on the earth surface and the sea surface as well. So first thing we have to understand for that reason, that the ocean currents magnitudes are the air temperature, and we consider that help in the regulation of the air routes. So that's also main currents actually that we have to understand. This current can be caused for the many different things, including the temperature, salinity, wind, okay, water density, and gravitational force. So that can be currents. Okay, then come to already currents are influenced by the rotation of the earth, perhaps you know, and due to the Coriolis effect, and which is causes the to follow the clockwise in the northern hemisphere and the counterclockwise in the southern hemisphere. And climate also heavily consider impacted by these currents. If you want to discuss the mixing of the cold and warm currents, okay, so this area provides ideal condition for the life of fish, and this life of fish you consider depend on the growth of the zooplankton and phytoplankton at that particular area. If you want to say discuss the Sargasso Sea, okay, then come to the another thing, there's the North Atlantic fishing ground, then come to Japan fishing ground. So these are the main fishing ground that developed by you consider a mixture of the two ocean currents, warm and cold current. Okay, so that's right. The chief food of the fish, that is the plankton, is found in the abundance in the cold water. For example, Newfoundland, where the Gulf of Stream and Labrador, as you know, one is the cold current and is the warm current, that mixing point and upholding the water and nutrient salts as well. So that can create a huge, you can say, the growth of the plankton, and for eating this or for getting this plankton, all the fish try to accumulate there, and fishermen try to collect over there. When the cold and warm currents meet, very dense fog, you consider developed. So due to this fact, what happened? Perhaps in 1912, the Titanic, the largest ship at this time, carrying the more than 2,000 passengers, died due to this fact. Okay, so these are the warm current and cold current affected the rainfall on that area. Okay, rainfall means is there is a warm current in the coastal area, so that time this coastal area become new lowland or low pressure belts generates, and this low pressure belts attracts the high pressure belts, and due to this fact rainfall occurs in that area. Okay, perhaps you know the British Columbia, okay, British Isles, then Japan and Queensland. Okay, so these are the area. Wind passing over the, you can say, the cold current do not rain all over this, and Kalahari, Atacama deserts. Okay, all these things perhaps you know. So these are the main causes. Okay, the Kalahari desert, okay, Atacama desert, because of the drier places of the cold current. So this can be happening in that area. Okay, so no rainfall. So number of, you can see, the desert can be found. formed, okay, or developed. That's why you can say most of our, you can say, desert which are located in the eastern western side of the continent. Okay, so this we have to understand a lot. Okay. So next you can say, perhaps you can say, that is the wind passing on the cold currents do not rain, Kalahari Atacama, and the cold Labrador currents brings the nearly months of winter and bad weather condition prevailing that area. Okay, so this rest of the Labrador and the eastern foreland area, there we can found, then you can say the very dry conditions or dry temperatures over there. Okay, so these are the all about the effects of the ocean currents. If you want to discuss the next point, that is as per your book, that is the tides. Before starting this chapter, we have to know what is the tides. Tides are the daily rise and fall of the water surface on the coastline, and due to this, because the tides comes and the level of the water beaches rises, and tide goes out, so that time the level of water beaches goes down. So these tides occur in all bodies of water, but they are most noticeable in the ocean and the lakes. There you can see there is an effect of the tides. Okay. Next, if you want to discuss what are the causes or causes of the tides. First causes, as per your book, perhaps you can see the gravitational force of the earth and moon. Okay, but perhaps you know the distance from the sun and earth. You can see near about 15 crore kilometers. Due to this fact, sun cannot affect a very large quantity, but in the case of the moon is you can see the distance from the earth moon distance, which is the 384,400 kilometers. And due to this fact, what happened, this area, consider gravitational attraction of the moon and sun somehow pull the water from one area to another area. Due to this fact, perhaps you can see there is a tides or the rise of the sea level. Okay, so these are the main thing, moon and earth. Then come to another thing, that is the number 2, that is influence on the moon. So previously we discussed the earth, then come to the moon. Moon also played a vital role. You can say that the distance between the moon and earth is very short. So as per I discussed for previous, that the 384,400 kilometers. Due to this fact, the moon always try to attract some of the earth land masses, but somehow a moon is always succeed to get, you can see, the water or bulk of water from one area. So wherever the location of the moon, so that side, the bulk of water and all the water bodies go that, and that area would be the highest, and opposite side, so that opposite side, not the both side, high tides and low tides, and you can see the up and down side of the earth, that become the low tides area. Okay, so these are the main thing, you can say, perhaps you can see in this diagram. Next, come to the rotation of the earth. Perhaps you know rotation of the earth, that is the speed of the earth, you can see the rotation, that is perhaps more than 40,000 kilometers per hour. So due to this fact, what happened, always try to, there is a centripetal force, and the centripetal force always try to, you can say, the water bodies try to lift from one area to another area, and earth, this area become what, the mean sea level, and the sea level rises, and that cause the tides. Okay, so force that influence the tides, that is the rotation of the so perhaps you can see over here. Okay, then come to, so these are the main thing we have to discuss. Then come to the magnitudes. When the tides are, you can see the magnitudes and their height as the sea differs from coastal area. Perhaps you know that is the, sometimes you consider 12 meters, sometimes 10 to 12 meters the magnitudes. Okay, so this is the magnitudes, or that time the sea level rises 10 to 12 meters. Then come to types of the tides. If you want to discuss that, the types of the tides can be divided into two. First one is the spring tide. Spring tide, what happens when sun, moon, and the earth, you consider it is the first week and the third week of the every month. So that time sun, moon, and the earth in the coming the one line, and that time moon as well as the sun pull the water from the sun, and that due to this fact, what happened, the one side or the both side of the earth water or sea level rises. So that is known as the spring tide. So spring tide, perhaps you know, that is known as the high tide. Okay, so it may be the two position when the sun and moon, and when the earth between the sun and moon, and on another condition when the moon between the earth and sun. Both condition there is a high tides, okay, and that can be observed in the first week and the third week of the every month, okay. So this is the high tides or the spring tide. If you want to discuss another tides, that is known as the low tide. Low tide is also considered as the neap tide, okay. What is the condition of the neap tide? Perhaps you can see in that position that the sun and earth and the moon come into the diagonal position near about the 90 degree. So it may be the two position, perhaps you can see on the left side in my diagram. So I just explained that soon, that the sun is position and the moon, that is diagonal position. So earth and the sun, so moon and the sun, you consider they are both try to attract the sun waters, and due to this fact there will be the low tides in the all over the world, so all over the earth. So that is known as the neap tide. That can be seen in the second and the fourth week of the every month, okay. So these are the main the neap tides and high tides, okay. So these are the main thing. Timing of the tide, if you want to discuss, so when this occurs, the time of the difference between the each of the tides approximately 12 hours 26 minutes, 6 minutes. If there is a high tide, so the 8 a.m., so that the next will be the low tides, you can see the 8 a.m. So next the 8 a.m. 8:26 p.m. okay, and next it will be the 8:52 a.m. okay, so on. So always there is a difference, 12 hour 50 to 12 hour 26 minutes, okay. So this thing we have to understand a lot, okay. Then you can say that we already discussed the effect of the currents, ocean currents. Now we are going to discuss the effects of the tides, okay. Effects of the tides, what is the, it helps to remove the debris from the seashore area. That's the first effects. Second, you can say the strong tidal currents help the ship to enter the shallow harbors like the Calcutta and the Kolkata now it is. And certain harbors, the tidal basin of the constructed the sea tidal water, and the London harbor, perhaps you know. Another is the tidal water. You can see the energy, tidal energy can be harnessed to generate the electricity. So that is called the tidal electricity. That is the, you can see the one of the renewable resources. Okay, so that can be used instead of the conventional resources or non-renewable resources like petroleum and the coal. Next thing, you consider the tides governs the schedules of the fishermen, and they sail out and in with the tides. In cold currents, the tides prevents the ports from the getting frozen, and that helps the coastal waters in constant motion. So these are the main. And the strong tides have the long, you can see the prevent of the delta, and but you can see the helps the river in building the own flooding area. That's a 10 cents London. Another are very effectful. The sea creature, that is the attached with the rocks and the depend on the tides to bring their food along with their tides. So that's the main effects. So this is all about the chapter. Thank you for watching this video.